everyone, and welcome back to Julia Knit Stuff. This is a podcast where I talk about everything I'm knitting and yarn and future plans and all those fun knitting things. Today, the first thing I want to talk about is what I'm wearing, which is also one of my most recent finished objects. It's called the Daily Ritual Raglan by Park Williams. The yarn I used is my cat, Bluebonnet. The yarn I used is by Woolberry Fiber Co. in the colorway Flock from the Flock Knitting Festival that was hosted for the first time in last August in Seattle. It is a beautiful pink with speckles throughout. The speckles are also pink or mauve, and they also have like these blue and green speckles on it too. So next, I wanted to talk about a few details that I love about this sweater. A couple of them, ooh, close call. The 1x1 ribbing, I think it's such a nice touch. Such a, it's like a delicate finishing instead of like chunky 2x2 or, you know, 3x1 or something like that, where the ribbing is just even and it ties well into the stockinette. Okay, don't want him to knock over the camera. And another thing that I really love about it is this neckline shaping right here and here. So you can see these increases are shaping the neck here and here because that part of the sweater was knit flat. So you cast on flat and you knit back and forth to shape the neck, then you cast on here and join in the round for the rest of the raglan sweater. And I really think that does a really good job to raise the back neck without using short rows, and it adds a really pretty detail to the sweater. I hope you don't mind Bluebonnet. And I also really love this collar. So the collar is longer than I typically make my collars. It's like kind of a turtleneck style. You can wear it up like this. You can wear it folded in. Today I'm wearing it folded out, which is really nice because it's just like that cozy feeling of the winter time, and it's still February, still a little cold, so it's nice to be able to wear to keep cozy. And I love the sweater. I don't really have I've been making short sleeve items because I live in South Texas, and this is one of my very first like stockinette sweater with Surrey. I love that fuzz felt element. You can see this beautiful halo on the sweater, and so I've really enjoyed wearing this so far, even though I've only had it a week. I think it's a really beautiful sweater, and I really enjoy wearing it. I really hope you don't mind the cat. I'm really looking forward to making other sweaters that have a similar feel to this. I would even make another one of these. I think it's like a go-to raglan style sweater. So if you're looking for a raglan that doesn't have short rows, that is really easy to construct, has a great fit, I really recommend the Daily Ritual Raglan by Park Williams. All right, next up, I want to talk about my WIPs, my works in progress. I have some new works in progress that I cast on this week, so 2 new cast-ons. And I didn't get much done on my other projects that I have in progress because of my new cast-ons. So I finally casted on my Shifty sweater. So I casted this on last Sunday afternoon, and I've been working on it as like my main project all week. Here it is. So I put it on these cords so I don't lose any stitches, and I can show you the yoke that I have so far. So you can see these color changes. So I'm using Spin Cycle dyed in the wool. The first color I have is called Every Rose, and it's this beautiful like rainbow color. So it starts blue, goes greenish, yellow, and now we're on like reds. So it's been really beautiful watching that work up. And the main color is also dyed in the wool, but I'm also using a Kelborn Woolens Andorra. So I'm mixing yarns. So you can see I have 3 yarns that I'm carrying up. If you see here, This side, you can tell I'm carrying up these yarns right here at the beginning of round. There's a pretty pronounced seam on the inside where I'm carrying those yarns up. But on the right side, it's very subtle and not very obvious, at least to me. It might pick up really good on camera, but we'll see. I think it's looking great. I was a little worried for a second about the blending of the yarns as the main color, but I think it's looking great so far. I used the spin cycle to cast on. That's the Melancholia. So you can see this cast on edge. I did a tubular cast on to get that effortless like stitch. So that's really beautiful. Something else I'm doing is I'm alternating with that Andorra. So I'll do 3 rows of Andorra and then 1 row of dyed in the wool. And that's because I have 3 skeins of Andorra and 2 skeins of dyed in the wool. So I'm trying to use more Andorra and less dyed in the wool. And I want to use the dyed in the wool Melancholia for the collar, which I already used, the ribbing on the hem, and the ribbing on the sleeves. So that's another reason I'm using mostly the Andorra. My cat, I closed him away in a room, so you might hear him meowing, but he'll survive. Other things I'm doing, I'm using the row counter. So I made this row counter using numbered beads that I bought on Amazon and light bulb stitch markers that I also bought on Amazon. And that's just something I wanted to do because I didn't want to buy when I could make something. I didn't want to buy something when I could make it. So I chose to make the stitch marker, row counter. And so that's been really fun. I can post the links. I can post the link to the beads and the stitch marker that I bought, which is really cool because it comes in all these different colors. So I have like this bright yellow, I have a lavender one, I have a blue, so that's really fun. And I used an Etcha contrasting stitch marker as the tens place on my row counter. So I'm not really using the tens place for this pattern, so I just have it dangling there on the 0. So that's been pretty fun. This is super slow growing. So another thing I'm doing this year is I'm keeping track of the time that it takes me to knit things. So I downloaded an app. It's called Hours Tracker. It's right there on my phone. And on that I have my different projects listed. And whenever I'm gonna sit down and knit on one, for example, my shifty, I'll click it and I'll press clock in, and then I will get to see how long it's taking me to make this. So far, I have knit on this for 17.5 hours. So throughout the week, I would knit 1 to 2 hours a day. Oh, except on Thursday. I went really on it on Thursday. So I can knit 1 to 2 hours a night. And then today is Sunday, so I've been knitting a lot. So today I've knit almost 5 hours on my sweater. So I really wanted to keep track of how long it takes me to make my sweaters, because I've noticed more people, as I make more sweaters, more people are asking me about them. And I wanted to have a quantifiable measure to tell other people about the amount of work that goes into a hand knit sweater, because I really don't think people have a true concept of what that's like. So that's one reason I wanted to do this hours tracking, because I know how much work I'm putting into my sweaters, but it's just different. Like this Daily Ritual sweater, I catch track of it, and if you are curious, I hope you're curious, I'm gonna tell you, I took 51 hours and 40 minutes to knit this sweater, and that includes winding the yarn, blocking, and the knitting of it. So 51 hours and 40 minutes for this sweater, and it's like not that intricate. So that's just something I thought was very interesting, and I wanted to be able to explain how much work goes into my knitted sweaters. And I hope that people here listening might know a little bit about what it takes to make a knit sweater. But again, I've had more people asking me about my sweaters since I've been wearing them more. I'm really hoping to finish the yoke on this Shifty really soon because I'm about to get to the largest section of the yoke. And it's gonna be 400 stitches. And I don't really normally make very many sweaters that go up to 400 stitches. That's like not, I'm very privileged in the size body that I live in, that I don't typically have to do that many stitches to make a sweater. So it's gonna be, this one is gonna be a lot of work. And I was looking at my time clock app about my Shifty sweater to say that so far this has been 17 and a half hours. And I think I did say that already, but 17 and a half hours, and I feel like it's only a little bit to show. But I knew that going into this project. That's why it's taken me over, that's one reason it's taken me over 10 years to cast this on. I knew it would take forever, but I'm also coming to the conclusion that it's totally worth it. Because look how beautiful these color changes are. And that's just the first dyed in the wool skein, because I have two more. I have the Grumpy Birds and the Overpasses to try next. So it's growing slowly but surely, and I have so many sweaters already, and I have a goal to make 9. This is my second item on my make 9. This was my first, so I'm showing off 2 things on my make 9 for the year. So if you're not familiar, make 9 is like on Instagram you can make a layout that's 3 by 3, so you can show 9 different things you're gonna make throughout the year. And I have a goal to make 3 t-shirts, 3 pullovers, and 3 cardigans. So this would be my second pullover. And then I'm thinking about, I really want to do a t-shirt soon, and then the cardigan as well. So yeah, I have a lot of knitting plans, and that's what's super cool about knitting is yarn doesn't go bad. I mean, you can get bugs, but I'm really trying to mitigate that. So yarn doesn't go bad. So all of these plans will get made, and pray to God my hands work and my mind works, and I can continue to knit like I have been for the past several years. So I'm really excited to see my Shifty grow. Some other specs, I'm making the size 2. I cast it on with the size 2 needle, and I'm doing the main body in a size 3. I've been pretty conscious about my gauge because I really want to get that 30.5 stitch gauge or something really, really close to it. And I did not swatch just because I didn't. And so I'm knitting it on a size 3, and I've been very conscious of knitting on the tips of my needles, not the shafts, and creating a really pretty gauge. I tried this on, and it's fitting really well so far. So I'm really looking forward to this sweater. I picked the size 2 because in the pattern, it's written for either 2 inches of negative ease or 2 inches of positive ease is the design. And I chose to go down a size because I typically will like my clothes to be more fitted than less fitted, because I think that I feel more confident in more fitted items. Like I did a lot of waist shaping on this sweater, and I'll add waist shaping to most of my like oversized sweaters because I like a fitted item. And so I went down to size 2 instead of like up to size 3. And I do think my gauge will be slightly off. So I think it'll be a little bigger than the pattern design. So the pattern design should be 34 inches as the circumference of the bust circumference. And I have like a 36, 37 bust. So I think a size 34 is going to be a good size for me. Especially if I get a gauge that's slightly off, so my garment comes out slightly bigger. So I'm really shooting for like 0 ease. I'm shooting for 0 ease. So I really hope that fits me really well. Size 2 for the ribbing, size 3 for the other elements. Any other details people like to know? I don't think so. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Okay, so that's my Shifty. I have another cast on. It's a hat, and one thing I wanted to do, there's a couple reasons I cast on this hat. The first one is I was tired of how slow my Shifty was going, and I needed to see more knitting growth. Like, I needed more gratification than my Shifty was, because it's just so slow. 30.5 stitches for 4 inches is like such it's finer gauge than I'm used to, so I cast it on a worsted weight hat. This is the, I'm not really following a knitting pattern for the hat. I'm doing it from my own imagination. I did look up a worsted weight hat pattern just to see how many stitches I might want to cast on. So I casted on 108 stitches. And I'm working in 1x1 rib. I'm about to stop this sorry, I'm untangling it. I hope that's not annoying. I'm working this 1x1 rib. I want it to be a single folded brim. I think that untangled it. Yes, I want it to be a single folded brim. So I'm knitting I want like 6 inches of ribbing so that it has a 3-inch brim once it's folded. And I'm almost done with that. So I want it to fold like this. Yeah, I want it to fold so it's a pretty chunky brim. And it's this beautiful La Bien Aimée Cory confetti in the colorway Amy's Peach Sweater. And that's where these beautiful nubs are coming from. That confetti style of the yarn. It's recycled yarn. And that makes those colors. I knit a cardigan in this yarn, and I had 1 skein left, so that's where this hat came from. And additionally, I got one of those yarn to go wristlets, so it's dispensing my yarn slowly and surely like this. So that's been really fun to use. It's been really fun to use this. And it was a Valentine's Day present from my boyfriend. I did send him the link because I really wanted one to try out. I keep it like hooked onto a lamp while I'm knitting on the couch, and it's just been spinning, which has been really fun to use. The next thing I'm gonna do with the stitches for this hat, because I said I'm not really following a pattern. I'm not following a pattern because I wanted a cable knit hat in worsted weight yarn that was not, like, that was a simple cable. I want just like a 3 crossover, like simple cable. So I'm gonna do, it's 108 stitches, so if I have a 12 stitch repeat, a 12 stitch pattern that repeats 9 times, it'll work out pretty well. And what I'm gonna do is 3 purls, 6 knits, 3 purls again, and then so that it's, you know what, that's probably too many purls. Maybe 2 purls, 8 knits, and 2 purls again. Yeah, that'll probably be better. And if I have to rip it out, I will. And I just want it to be a simple, like, simple cable. So once I decide what cable I'll do, I'll explain that too on the podcast. It's such a cute hat already, and I'm really looking forward to having more of that done. Again, I'm knitting this as like my instant gratification project, so I really want to see my knitting grow compared to my Shifty. So that's where this is, and it's been really fun to have that too. The next thing I want to talk about is some future plans. I have some future plans to make a hat, but before I talk about the knitting, I want to talk about the personal significance. So my sister and I have an identical twin sister. She looks just like me. And we have matching tattoos of olive branches. So mine is right here on my wrist. It has 7 olives and 7 leaves to signify the 5 kids and our parents. So the original 7 of us that grew up in the same house and our nuclear family, which is just, I have really fond memories of my family. My family is really close. So I love that I have a tattoo that is so dear and pronounced. Like for me, I can see it. If I look down at my arm, I'm gonna see it. And I love that about this tattoo. And additionally, my sister drew it. So she's a bit of a sketch artist. And so she drew this really pretty tattoo just like with a pen. And I got it last year to recognize my family and the things that we've done together. So I hope it focuses on my tattoo and not my face, but there it is. So olives. She has a matching tattoo here too that she drew herself as well. And the significance of olives is personal to us. So we love olives, and the stories in the Bible about olive branches and olives, and how it's just a really fun fruit for us. And so when Explorer Knits and Fibers came out with an olive grove colorway as part of the Spain collection, I got 2 skeins, one to make a hat for me and one to make a hat for my sister. All right, so here's the color. It's literally olives, which is such a beautiful color. So the color is Olive Grove. The yarn is Explorer Knits and Fibers Earthy Sock. I got Earthy Sock because I wanted the yarn to be pretty grippy for a hat, especially for a sock weight hat. I think it needs a little more structure because the yarn is thinner, and so it just needs a little more structure. Here's the label on the back that tells you the colorway and the details. And it's a beautiful yarn. It's one of their newish bases. So it's my first time working with this Earthy Sock. I really love Explorer Knits and Fibers yarn. It's been evident in previous episodes, so there's that. This is pretty awesome yarn. It has 436 yards, which is pretty generous yardage. And my idea for the hat is a brownstone beanie by Tori Yu. So it's a double brimmed, it's a double folded brim hat that uses 1 skein of sock weight yarn. And so I like that pattern because it's a really simple classic beanie style, and it will use most of this yarn. I sent the pattern to my sister and she replied back with a different knitting pattern, so I feel like that was her way of saying maybe not, but if I'm gonna make her a hat, I think she's gonna love it no matter what the pattern is. So I think she's gonna have to trust me on which pattern I'm gonna make the hat in. So she lives out of the country, and there's a person traveling to her area of the world soon, and so I want to have this knit up for her so that it can travel over there at the end of February. So I'm going to be casting that on really soon, and I hope it goes really fast and really fun. So I don't know why I wanted to knit it so quickly, but I do. So I think it's because I've been missing her. So it'll be fun to think about her and make her a hat. Anything else for the podcast today? I don't think so. Okay, I'm hoping to keep recording these and cataloging how my knits are going, and I hope at least 1 or 2 people find it interesting to them. I'm finding it fun, so that's worth it to me. Have a great day, evening, morning, life, and I wish you well and the best. Thank you for watching.